like to invite our guest, Haziq Haikal, to join us together with the speaker, Mr. Shahmi, in a forum session. For your information, today's forum will be mainly focusing on trying to answer common queries on effective leadership with the help of the expertise and experience of both our panelists. Without any further ado, let us begin the forum. May I invite our guest Haziq Haikal to join us? Haziq Haikal, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Assalamualaikum semua.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, so I'll begin our forum. So we heard Mr. Shahmi talk about the main skills of a leader must have. So in your opinion, Haziq Haikal, what qualities are lacking among today's leaders?
Okay, thank you for the question, Miss Aliahana. First of all, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Haziq Haikal, and if some of you might have not known me, I'm the student of YTN in Electrical Power Engineering course, and yeah, I'm in 4th year, which is the final year of my study in UNITEN. So going back to the question from Alia, and she asked about the what nowadays leader lacking of in their attribute. So generally speaking, I would say that nowadays the leader are lacking of two things. Formula, two things. The first one is the communication skill, where in some cases where the leader have to face some problem, like in the team, where there are some problem where the team members need to fight off each other or they have an argument. The leader tend to avoid this problem. Why? Because they don't know how to solve the problem. They don't know how to talk to the team member and to have a neutral solution for both parties. So I think, yeah, communication skill is really important for the leader to have in order to control their team and performance of the team. And the second one, I think, that the most important and crucial thing is that the leader cannot be a micromanager. And what is micromanager? Do you guys know what is micromanager? I assume some of you might know what is micromanager. Micromanager is that the leader wants to control every single tiny bit of things that they have in their work environment. So for example, even for the printing service that the clerk can do or our team member can do, that one also the leader want to do it. And this is what we call micromanager. So why micromanager is bad is that the team members tend to lose their trust on the leader, or they will assume that the leader have no trust on the team member because the leader want to do all the work by themselves. Yeah, I think that's all for me. Anything to add on, Mr. Shahmi?
All right.
Oh, on part of the micromanage, yeah. So I think sometimes is that the leader itself doesn't know that. I mean, as a leader, although we are leader, we also need to learn on this one to tackle on how, to tackle how communication with the team. And I believe the micromanage is most of the thing that kill people. I mean, if let's say right now everyone is working from home. I mean, for my case, and then your boss keep asking you every 5 minutes, "Hey Shahmi, what are you doing? Hey Shahmi, what are you doing? Hey Shahmi, what are you doing?" You're going to be stressed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like somehow we might need to sort out with your leader, with your boss, because sometimes they might not know on that one. Yeah. At least if because I think if let's say you as a worker, you just keep getting those things without giving feedback, right? I think they're also wrong because you know that you don't like to be like that one, but you didn't give a feedback. So if you didn't give a feedback, your boss doesn't know. And when your boss doesn't know, then everyone will keep blaming, hey, the boss is wrong, not me. And then the boss will say, hey, I'm not wrong. You didn't tell me. So this is like kind of like cat and dog fight, right? So as you mentioned, Haziq, it's kind of like very important that the communication, even though maybe you're afraid that your boss will mad on you, but at least it's better for you to speak on behalf. But please be use a proper word. Don't like shouting or curse. I mean, so that will give like a bad impression. So if let's say, for example, like for me, right, I was working in a US company. So during that time, I was just joining the company, and then I have me and my boss. And then after a few months, my boss left. So I'm managing the infrastructure of the company. So I was like, oh my, a lot of things happening, and everyone is depending on me. So I take that as a challenge, and from that one, I learned a lot. And then sometimes I feel like, oh, this is too heavy. So I told to my CTO, because we are startup, so it is easier for you to talk to your HR, to CTO. CTO, I think that I did a lot of things in the company. I think I would like to get a raise. So you see, salary raise. So okay, they will consider, and then they think that I'm worth, so they give me a raise. So that's how it communicate. So if let's say, because I think in GLC, people, for example, like a salary raise, I think is depend on the manager. If manager think that you're worth, then you will. But I think for me, because I'm coming from like a startup, so the nature is different. Because for the US, right, for the US company, if you feel that you are worth for that one, just tell them. If you didn't speak, then that's it. So I think that's something that maybe you can learn on that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank
all.
you.
Okay, so revolving, I think it's interesting that we're revolving around communication, right? So, uh, so what about like, are you more comfortable with verbal or written communication? And if you guys rate about that, because like, as we said that in this situation, maybe some people would prefer verbal communication, but other people wouldn't like that and would prefer texting, using social media and so on. So how about, what are your opinions on that?
Me or Haziq first?
Okay, either of you.
Would you want to go first, Mr. Shahmi?
Okay, sure. Right. So this question is doesn't have any right answer or wrong answer, because first thing you need to understand as a leader, you need to understand your worker. I mean your teammate. So for example, like this person A, what is the strong? Because some people tend to be auditory people, some people tend to be visual people. So I think that's depend, and the leader need to understand well their team. So it's not like right or wrong. So for me, I'm more on auditory. So if let's say people want to discuss, I will prefer to have a call, or have like a meeting like this one. So have a meeting, and then after the meeting, then I will ask them, okay, so I understand the thing. Maybe you can come up with like a writing or a diagram. So that's how I work. But some people just see the writing all good, but I believe both are required. Just the matter of which one giving you more understand. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On my part, yeah, same like Mr. Shami. I also prefer verbal communication, since for me, verbal communication give me a sense of trust to the person that I am dealing with, and of course, when you are making a direct eye contact, you will have a first impression on the person that you are talking to. So like from the first impression, usually you will not trying to say that it is bad, but you try to judge the people. But for the judgment, yeah, you can talk on the way, you can do what kind of thought that you want to give to them, like some kind of that thing lah. And then for me, the second thing why I chose verbal communication is because it gives me satisfactory, where instead of being WhatsApp only or not meeting in person, for me meeting in person is like it's more it's more in a way rojak punya ayat more puas lah, lagi okay.
I
It's
see.
something like that. Yeah, but there are some people that from my friends, they can do their work well if it's a written communication, or it's not a verbal communication, because they don't like to meet people. They like to do work and then just give it online, or pass it to other people as long as they do their work. Yeah, I think that's all for me.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so as leader, I'm sure like each and every one of you has like received criticism. So how do you respond to that as a leader yourself? So Shahmi?
Okay, so that's quite interesting. So as a leader, I believe criticism is something that required, because without criticism, you don't know what you are lacking of. So for me, I will take that as like, okay, let me think on it. Let me refresh back what I'm doing, what the thing that I'm maybe wrong doing. So I will reflect back, and then I will come out to the people who give me criticism. So if let's say I did like this one, is it okay? Is it good for the company? So I think it just a matter how I think, because it just a matter how you react and respond. And most thing more important is that you need to lower your ego, because some people don't sit, don't talk. I don't want to hear yours, something like that. Right? So it very difficult, especially is you are in like a high rank, people are criticizing you. But I think uh, it depends. I mean, if you want to improve yourself, that will be a good way. Yeah, but I believe in terms of criticism, it also need to come up with like a proper way, because you can't like critique people in front of a whole people. That can like give you like hype to people, right? I mean, that is not something that taught in Islam, right? I mean, if you want to go people, you need to talk one to one to them. Yeah, I think that's my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, same goes like me. Like the criticism, for me, criticism is really important for us to improve ourselves. For example, usually we people tend to sit in a, what do you call it, like a comfortable, like a safe place, instead of going out of your safe zone. So like, criticism is what makes you to go out of your safe zone and reflect on yourself, on what, like what Mr. Shami said, on your wrongdoing or what goes wrong in on the whole way that you are doing your work. So basically, what you need to do when you receive such criticism is that you take it as a challenge for you. Take it as a challenge and try to improve yourself. Try to reflect on yourself and what you can do to improve on that kind of criticism. For example, in our situation as a student and as a scholar, if I think most of you here are scholarship from TNB, right? Like, if you get a criticism like you are a scholar but then you didn't get dean list or something like that, because people expect you to be like that. If you didn't get any criticism on that part, then you will not improve yourself, because you think since TMB or YTN just put 2.7 or 3.0 for the requirement, so you feel safe. You don't feel like need to be improved more. So if people critique you on that part, then you will feel the need to improve and to learn more. Yeah, that's it. I think use negativity as inspiration. Thank you.
Great words. Okay, so like I think that's from the point of view of the leader being criticized, right? But I'm sure that we have met some team members that like didn't do any work. So how do you criticize your team members when they do not perform up to your standards?
Again, me.
Shahmi? Yes.
So far, from my end, I think I haven't encountered. I think, but I think what we can say that we can advise those people to to I mean to what we call to enhance, to fix what they are. Okay, let's put like this way. So I think it's better for you to like have a discussion with the people and seek what are the issue they are facing, because we don't know, sometimes people have issue, maybe a personal issue, maybe a finance issue, so we don't know. Maybe, for example, like why these people like keep coming late. Maybe previously it's okay, but now it's coming late, so we need to investigate, because we can't be like giving a judgment that, okay, this is not good, you're that's it, so you are fired. I mean, it's not like that one, because we as a human, we have an emotion, we have something that we need to discuss. So I think it's better to seek what the main problem, because if you just come into a conclusion, it's not a solution. It just like make things worse. So I think from my point of, in my case, I haven't encountered that one, but I'm more, because myself, I would like prefer to have a discussion, but maybe different people will have their own preference, because sometimes send an click, when the click will think that the boss are angry to him, but actually the boss are not angry, just like as referring back to the question, whether it's a writing or audio, right?
Verbal
So
communication,
yeah, verbal. So that's kind of like thing that we need to, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Oh,
Yeah, I
speaking from
agree.
the, yeah.
So
You
yeah, I agree
agree?
with that. I agree with Mr. Shahmi, because there are some people where they tend to, how do you say it? Terasa, yang
Yeah.
mudah terasa with what the leader might say about
Yep.
what the problem that they have done. Like for example, some people, they take it too seriously when you go for verbal reprimand, or what do you say it? Verbal warning. That way, when you talk to them personally, they tend to take it too seriously. Like if you send like a message or email, WhatsApp, to reprimand on what they have do that have affect our performance for in the team, that I think that is the correct way to do it. Like it depends on the person that you are dealing with, and when you see some people in your team do mistake, you cannot wait for the right time to reprimand them, because if the longer you wait to warn them on their mistake or to reprimand them on their mistake, it will affect our team massively. I mean, if you see there are problems, then straight away go talk to them and encourage them to do better, and reprimand them and advise them on what they can do to improve themselves.
Okay, I see. Okay, so
I
as,
want
yeah,
to I
really,
want to add on that
yes.
one. So
Okay.
if let's say that person nature is like that one, meaning that he is the problem. So
Okay.
sometimes you as a leader, you have a limit, right? So so you know that you can't take on this one. So I believe you might need to come out to the management to seek on the help on this one, because they might have like I think for university they will have a counselor, right? So I think those counselor can help, while for the worker, maybe they can seek help from the HR to get advice on how to deal with this one, because sometimes you can't like focus on that person. You still need to manage your the others, your. So I think let HR or the relevant party tackle on this one. So at least it will be better, because sometimes people is is the problem. So
I
at the end of the
see.
day, we can't keep this kind of, like I say in the video, we can't keep this kind of toxic people. It just ruin the team. It sabotage the thing. So hopefully we are not that kind of toxic.
Yeah, agree.
Agree. All right. So as we're revolving around team members, right? So how so like how do you as leader deliver bad news to your group members? Speaking from work experience, Mr. Shami, how would you deliver bad news to your team members?
Well, I think, as I mentioned, I'm more keen to have a discussion with the team member. Maybe we can, if let's say that bad news is on a certain people, then I will meet on a certain people. But if let's say it's involving the group, for example, like I think nowadays people are on retrenchment, for example, right? Retrenchment. So I think the leader might call their teammate, explain on the situation, and yeah, and deliver the bag, because at the end of the day you can't hide that one. You need to deliver. And most importantly, if let's say, I think if let's say you got those bad news, and I believe you should deliver in hard to find a right moment, but I believe it should be delivered in as soon as possible because we don't know because they still they want to plan, for example, like retrenchment. So it's better for you to let them know earlier so that they can plan on their retrenchment plan, what the next step they need to do. Because for me, my brother who work in Malindo, he is part of the 2,200 people who got retrenched. So they give like a short notice email like 30th of October, and then they cut off all the communication by 2nd of November. So I think this is like a personal opinion. It doesn't relate on that one. I believe we should. I mean, they should have like a proper so that people can have like a plan. So yeah. So this is what I think.
Yeah. What I like about this forum is that on Mr. Shahmi's side, it's on the working environment side. Like on our side, on my side,
I
it's on the
agree.
student working environment side. So like for as me as a leader in a student community working environment, usually what kind of problem that we need to face when we are dealing with any activities or programs is that sometimes we need sometimes the what do you call it, the sponsor cut off our sponsorship, like maybe cut it to half. Like I have been to that kind of problem before. And how do I deliver the bad news to the teams? That I make a meeting and I prepare a solution beforehand, like before we do the meeting, so that I prepare if any question that might be asked by the team member about the bad news and what the outcome might be from the bad news. And I need to prepare beforehand so that I can make them feel at ease, something like that lah. When they ask about that thing, and then we need to show that we care for the team. It's like when we deliver the bad news, we cannot say that we want to hands off from the team. Like they do themselves, and we do we. So we need to show that we care about them and we need to support them. Although the bad news that are coming beforehand is really bad, or it can affect the outcome of our program or our activity. And personally, I would say we need to listen to their ranting, to their vents on the problem that, yeah, I think you all might understand that some of us might be really angry when the bad news is coming, because yeah, what we plan is not coming off together at the end of it. Yep, I think that's it from my side.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we discussed about delivering bad news, right? So how would you motivate your team back to gain their spirits back? Mr. Shami, can you speak from your behalf of the working environment?
Okay, so it's kind of like depend on the situation, the bad news that you deliver to the people, right? So because I believe as a leader, you are the one that need to what we call sometimes you are the one need to sacrifice for your team happiness, right? So I think what you can do is giving a support, like I'm like as you see, giving the support and the fully what you can. uh, is it correct? I believe I'm answering the correct question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, like I did encounter those kind of bad news, which I just joined this IT company, like on December, but I didn't remember the year, and then after like 1 month plus, and then the company, my manager told me, Shami, we are sorry, we need to let you out because the company want to relocate the resources to US. I mean, the company is in Malaysia. So I was like, okay, it's like it's a retrenchment for me. So, and on top of that one, uh, my wife delivering my second kid on February, and they give me like 1 month plus until February, like a salary, but you just need to find a job on that one. And what my manager helped me, so he told me, he gave me a contact on the HR, so that I can reach to them and let them know that he are the one that recommended me to that one. So for me, even though it's like a bad one, but I believe in terms of Rizki, I want to know who the best. And I believe this is like kind of like a test for you, because human, if you don't get a test, you are in a comfort zone, right? So I think you just floating. I mean, you just relaxing. So this is something that maybe God Allah want to make you to be a better. So at the end of the day, I managed to land a job. I think by mid of February. So that's my journey. So I believe that is something that is like a precious experience that I get. I think not all because maybe if because I think one thing is that you need to be a positive person, because if you are think negative, all the negative will come to you. Believe me, you need to think positive, even though it's like a bad thing in your life. You need to think that there is a lot of people more bad than us, right? I mean, have a worse situation from us. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
From my side, yeah. But by the way, there was a really inspiring story from
Yeah.
Shahmi. And sad, and so sorry for the
No
work
problem.
loss.
So I think due to that one, I'm able to become what I have not now. So thanks to that one. Yeah. Else,
Yeah.
I think
That's the
if I
silver
think
lining.
if God doesn't give you a test, you won't be what you have right now. I mean, you will be like
Yeah, true.
normal people, right? So yeah.
True,
So
true.
that's thing.
Okay, like from my perspective, for the motivation for the team, usually what I do to motivate my team, if we are to encounter such bad news in our program or activities, that I share my vision with them. Like if we have target for our activity, for our program, we share to them. We share to them on what will the outcome be, and what will be the reward that we can gain from the end of the program or activity. So that, because when you share your vision, people tend to also take the vision of the leader as their own vision. Then they automatically, I would say, automatically motivate them to be and to do the work better. And of course, another thing is that we do not punish failure, because when we punish failure, they tend to be so discouraged to do the work that will be coming after this. And what we need to do, and what we advise to do, is that we encourage them to do better. We advise them to do which part they need to repair, I would say that like that, on their work, so that the work will be done perfectly, that almost perfectly.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay,
Sure.
so for the next question is competition between team members healthy, and why do you think that way, Mr. Shahmi?
Okay. So referring to the test, right? So if you don't give a test or don't give a competition, people tend to live in their relaxing comfort zone. So so they won't be able to fully like fully expand their knowledge, or giving their best to the team. So I think in terms of that one, maybe you can have like some competition in terms of knowledge. So at least, because work 9 to 6 is kind of tiring, especially when a lot of things happen and it can be a burnout. So I believe this kind of like a competition is a good healthier, and at least they can have like a fun time, no need to think about the work. And on top of that one, they can learn something new, which I believe maybe we are in the same team, think that everyone are in the same path, but we don't know, maybe some of our team members have a different skill that benefit to the team. We don't know, because sometimes people tend to be shy, so they just do whatever they told to. So but some people that like to expose their team, their skill, I think that's a good one. But this kind of people, if we able to nurture them on sharing, so by giving a competition or something, so I think it will give a lot of benefit, and I think reduce stress, reduce burnout, yeah, and more on thing is a team bonding, yeah.
Yep, definitely. Competition between team member is really, really important and healthy. And why is that? If any of you here watch anime, like if you know all like from the competition, from a healthy competition, go plus ultra. Yeah, you can go even past the boundaries that you have. Like, yeah, generally speaking, when when you need to compete with your rival, you tend to be better than them. Like if your rival is at that point in our study, if your rival is and now if your rival is like 3.8 in CGPA and you want to be better than that, so you go for 3.9, and then suddenly your rival is 3.95, you go for 4 flat. Yeah, something like that. It push your boundaries to be a better person in your own way. Yep, just short.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so for the next one, I would like to hear what is the hardest challenge you had to experience as a leader so far in both, like we're talking about in both working environment and also in student environment, right? So what is the hardest challenge from your own experience that you have faced as a leader? So Shahmi.
The thing that come out in my mind is, I think the challenge is lazy. Right. So I mean, because I don't want to be like too complicated, but I think sometimes you will come to the point where you are too tired, too lazy to do everything. So that is the challenging theme, and you need to find a tune or find a point where you can get back to the track. I believe we as a human, sometimes we might glitch on the road, same from what we have. So that's why our iman sometimes can go higher, can go lower, right? So that's what I'm thinking of. So it's just a matter of how should be able to seek the point to go back to the correct route. I mean, correct road or journey, and don't be too long offside the road. I think you might slip and go to the somewhere far away. Yeah. So I think that's the thing, because it's a normal for people. I think so. Yeah.
All right, from my side as a student, I think there are two challenges, like from the university perspective and from the school perspective. From my school days perspective, I was once appointed as a leader for my teacher side. Like my teacher appointed me as a leader to lead the organization, and then along the way, like not along the way, at the start of the way, one of the teacher always condemned me, always rejected me as a leader, saying that I was not a good leader, saying that I'm not a good one, because I was not part of the organization before, but I was being pulled from the normal student side to become a leader at that time. Particular teacher just rejected me and condemned, scolded me every single time, until at one point I proved to that teacher that I am, yeah, worthy of being a leader at that time. That is from my school days time. During the university time, I think this is the most, or what do you get, the most normal thing, or the most normal people encounter as a leader in university, is that you are being appointed as a leader from your team member, but then when you are the leader, your team member doesn't want to what do you call it, comprehend, doesn't want to help you, doesn't want to cooperate with your work. They appoint you to be a leader, but then you do the work, only you. They just hands off from their work. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's it from my side. I hope everyone don't be like that, okay?
All right, thank you very much. So,
Okay.
for the next one, I'm sure everyone has their own ideal and has their own mentor and so on. So, who do you look up to for inspiration and for mentorship? Mr. Shahmi?
Okay, so from my, I think my goal, I think it's depend on the person. For me, I think for me it will be my experience. From my experience, family experience, student experience, working experience. So, and for me, it's like what you want to be in at the end of the time. So that's how you need. I mean, those kind of experience will lead you how to make things better, make a better person from time to time. I think different people will have their different one, but I think from what because I'm like a person that I don't like to follow people. I do like my own style. For example, like during my second year or third year or second year, I think my second year, second sem in UNITEN, I tend to take third year first semester subject. So
Oh,
that deviated me from my group of people
I
because I
see.
think
You're
I don't.
advanced.
It's not like I mean like if you mingle around with the same people, you won't get a lot of experience, right? So if you mingle with a different people, right, you will
Yes,
have
I
a lot of
agree.
experience.
I
I
agree.
So
agree.
that is my way. And people like my friends like, hey, Shami, why you take the year? I mean, I do that. That will be a challenge because I don't have any friend during that time. When I entered, I was like a lone ranger. I know none of them because all of them are third year student. But there's a challenge, so I need to 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 brief myself, asking the question that I'm not so sure because uh, during the time I'm taking EMD, electrical machine drive. I was like, what the heck is this? So yeah, a lot of challenge. I know I kind of suffer on that subject, but it just taught me that um, if you follow the same road, you won't experience a lot. So just take a different road. And from that one, I able to meet with a lot of people, experience and how they're thinking. So I think that's all. So I think it's depend on you actually. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it really depends on us. Like for me myself also, I don't really have a particular inspireship in mentorship for my daily life. But then before this, set aside the political issues or whatnot, I up to our Tun Dr. Mahathir for his work ethic. Yeah, I met him before, and he is such a workaholic. But then his working ethic is really good. And if he are dedicated to the work that he is doing, then yeah, it can be done. Something like that. Like I really look up to him on that side of him where he really take his work seriously. And from my side, from what I do now, I usually look up to the people that are excel, that are doing good, or what do you say, not good, doing excellent or excellent student at that time.
I
And that is
see.
my mentorship. Like usually every semester it will be changing. Like if that student is better, then yeah, I look up to that student and what can I do to be like that?
Then I see.
Yeah, something like that.
Alright.
Thank you.
All right.
Uh, Maybe can
Yes.
just add on. I think maybe in term of like your the circle of the friend also will affect how you react, right? I mean, for
Yeah.
example, for you, if you have
True.
a friend that workaholic, then you will tend to workaholic. But if you are in the circle of people like, okay, just hoo-ha, I think you just right. So I think
That is
it
really
also
true.
it's really true that you need to have some kind of circle of people that will give you impact to motivate to move forward. Yeah, I think
Mm.
I mean, you can be friend with the people who are gamers. I mean, but you might need to have like a boundary. Oh, I
Yeah,
as a
true.
student, I also need to look into this one. Same goes for me. Yeah, yeah. I think that's something that we can add on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
you
think
have,
that is really important, right? It is really important
yeah.
for you to build your characteristic. And
Yeah, I think moving forward to the future, your friend, because when you are already working, right, I think you will have less friends. I think
Oh,
maybe your best friend last time in university might be not your best friend, maybe
oh
your office friend.
no.
I
sad to
think,
know
yeah,
that.
because when you're working, right, you will have like your working hours. You don't
Yeah,
tend to like,
commitment.
yeah, commitment, and then when you have family, I think it will seldom. So I think it's just that, just find a friend that maybe can help you. Because for me, I have a friend from like in the school, so we just like lost contact, and then our vision is same. So you need, I think you need to find a person that have a same vision with you. Maybe don't have find a vision. Maybe you can take a look during along your life path. I think, yeah.
I see. That's really interesting. All right. Okay. For the next question, what is one mistake you witness leaders making more frequently than others? Mr. Shami, in the working environment.
I think they just I think they just didn't listen. I mean, they just listen other people talk instead of us. Right.
Oh.
For example, like in a GLC, I believe, somehow when you're working, you will have a KPI. So those KPI are assigned mostly by your leader. So sometimes maybe your leader tend to heard from others people, but I'm not so sure. I think that's what I'm taught. So I think even already have a discussion, but the leader doesn't want to. It's not listen. Doesn't want to think of it. Just like he's the one that I think I'm the only one that correct. You are not. Something.
Mm.
And this kind of attitude killing people. And what I did, I just resigned, taking others. Because this is like a working environment. I mean, different working environment we have a different impact. So I think in a big company, it's hard for you to. I mean, you can speak, but in terms of action, I think it may take many months, many years. But if let's say you are okay with that, then okay. But for me, since okay, this is not suitable with me, so I just find another company that's suitable with my characteristics.
Yourself.
I
I think
see.
in working environment, don't. I think I'm not so sure if you are see the Malaysian drama TV ke every 7:30, right, something like that, right? I mean, have like a okay 20 plus years you got like a bungalow, a car. I think don't expect that one.
Unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Um. Yeah. So, can you repeat back the question
Okay,
again?
the question is, what is one mistake you witness leaders making more frequently than others?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. From the student perspective, I would say the leader tend to not mismonitor. They tend to not monitor their team member performance and working progress. Like for example, from my side, like we are having the capstone project now. It's like most of the leader in the some of the leader in the capstone project, they tend to not monitor the team performance, and if one of the team member didn't do any work, they just let it go and complain to the lecturer instead of talk to the team member itself. I think that is one of the most most do mistake in student side. And one more thing is that as a leader, I think they need to have a really good communication skill with the team member. They need to speak well with the team member, and they need to understand how the team member are doing and the problem they are having at that moment at that time. Yeah, I think that's all from my side.
So communication and empathy.
Yeah,
Alright.
true.
So like you mentioned about monitoring performance. So how do you monitor the performance of the people that you have?
Usually I ask for the progression of the team member, like the progression, not progression report, some kind of like progression report. Like in the WhatsApp group, we can have like if the program should be in 1 month preparation, then for every week, every end of the week, we need to have a report in the WhatsApp group for each bureau, for each group to send a report, a progress report, so that we can monitor on what they are doing, on what they are not doing, and as Mr. Shahmi said just now, we have our own KPI, right? So we need to also put our KPI for the group member so that they can reach the KPI so that it can be done during the time that we have put for the deadline. And if the work is to be done physically, for me personally, I would suggest all leaders should watch their team member do their work with their own eyes, because we believe on what we see instead of we believe on what they say. Okay, that's all from my side. Mr. Shahmi, anything to add?
Maybe you can have like a daily stand up. I think this is like a agile method in the IT company. So agile method is that you can have like a daily stand up, just speak what you have done and what you're
Ah,
planning to do today. But I
Oh,
think that's more
that's
on
really
like,
interesting.
yeah, but I think it's just like informal because you can have like a 10 minute every day. So or you just find a suitable. Normally it will be a morning. So you just find a suitable ways where every participant able to join and then update. I think that will be a good thing. Yeah.
yeah, true.
Oh, it's like a
Because
postmortem session.
because in term of like a report, I think it's good, but I think people are hard to do. I mean,
Lazy to do it.
yeah, lazy to do documentation. I
Yeah.
mean, for documentation, maybe like once a week or once a month should be okay. But I think for the daily stand up, it's like informal. You can have an update, and then on top of that, they can also report to you what their issue they are facing, and then I think you can solve it together. So at least this this thing is like a real time, so you know what is happening instead of you heard from the others. Yeah, I think that's that's
I
the
see.
thing you can adapt in the UFC environment. So yeah, we call like agile method. Maybe agile method is like what we call agile is a big one. Maybe you can search AGILE, the kind of method of how to handle a people. Yeah.
All right. Okay. For the next question, which is a question I'm actually curious about. Uh, Both working environment and also in our student environment, when you are faced with two equally qualified candidates for the next position of a leader or any position in the working environment, how do you determine whom to hire? Mr. Shami?
Mr. Shahmi, I really want to hear what your answer.
Yeah, this is a really interesting question.
So I think maybe I will ask them to do it's not an IQ test, it's more on the psychology test and see.
Psychology.
Psychology test.
I think you
And
can search, and those psychology you will know, you will be able to understand better on the people because some people able to read people, some of them not. So if you, I mean, even though I'm not so sure if you counter like, for example, like if you want to apply for a job, some company will ask you to perform a psychology test. So this psychology test will determine whether you are as a leader or you are as a follower or you are nothing. So if that psychology is what we call fit with your requirement, then it's okay. Because if you hire a wrong people or you elect a wrong people, right? For example, like you want them to swimming, but you hire people who able to climb a mountain. So it's not right,
I
right? I
see.
mean,
I
they
see.
can swimming, but it's not efficient like 100% climbing a mountain. So I think that is the easier method to do that.
I see. Oh, that's really interesting. But I've heard of big companies that they they ask IQ questions, right, to
Mm-hmm.
indicate whether the IQ of the person who applied for the job is like past the requirements. Is
Yeah, I
that the
think.
question? Is that the psychology test that you were referring to?
Oh, okay. So normally for the IQ test is something that company will ask if you want to apply for a software engineering, more on
Oh,
like a
I
logical thinking.
see.
So this IQ, if you have like a high IQ, so your logical thinking will be more greater. This will be benefit for a company that maybe like produce a hardware, produce a software, because in the programming they need to do some kind of logical rule whatsoever. So some company got like IQ test, psychology test, and maybe the other test. So it's a kind of different, yeah. Because
I
in
see.
psychology test, you can have like either your character is as a owl or a eagle or like something like that. So this kind of character will have determine your trait, your nature trait. Because um this psychology test, right? Because this is your inner how you this is your inner, what we call, this is your daily thing that you do, your attitude. So this is something that you can't change immediately. It requires a lot of years to build that up. So that's why as a leader of the future, it's better for you to develop this skill. So throughout when you graduate, go into the company, then you will have this kind of leader skill. Then it will make things easier. Yeah.
I
Else,
see.
might be you will be a follower, so you just keep looking for a command from your leader. Okay, next, what I need to do? Okay, do this task A. Okay, once done, you you don't know what to do next, right? So the thing, yeah.
Just want just want to ask about your opinion on what do you call it thing? The introvert and extrovert traits
Oh,
of people. Is that really matters in the company itself? Whether the
Mm,
people is extrovert or introvert, because that is like you say, we have they have a psychology test, right, for choosing who to hire. Like if the people is introvert, then will you not hire them?
Okay, so it's kind of like this introvert extrovert is depend on the job that you are required to hire. Uh, I I I I'm not remember which one is the shy people. Is it the introvert or extrovert?
introvert
The
is the shy one.
Okay,
Extrovert is
so
the
so I believe the introvert or extrovert, right? For example, like the shy one, right? I don't think they will apply for a DJ in the radio, right?
oh,
Definitely,
I
right?
see.
Right.
Yeah,
So
true.
so I
I
think
see.
this one is doesn't matter as long normally people tend to apply the job that they are suitable with their characteristic. Maybe like they don't like to deal with people, they do like to deal with computer, or maybe some people do like to do a sale. So this kind of, I think this is how you choose your path. But if let's say you want to challenge yourself, then from the introvert you can be an extrovert, or maybe both one. So I think it doesn't matter actually, because the matter is what job you choose.
I see.
Okay.
I'm really interested in how they conduct the psychology test. If you would elaborate further, did you like uh took the test like written or face to face or computerized test?
Oh, it can be a written or it can be online. I think you can try to find that one. You
Oh,
can
I
see it,
see.
and then you can see is it true or not. Yeah, and mostly the physical test they will give you like a situation. If you are in this situation, what you will do. For example, like you see an old man, and for example,
Oh,
like an old man crossing the road, are you going to help him or just leave her there, something like that? It's more like a, it's more like a the life case study. Yeah.
I see.
But I believe I will urge the audience here. Maybe if you got time, maybe you can do a psychology test, and then you can get know more about yourself. Yeah,
I see.
I think you
Okay.
can find the free one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Haziq, Haikal, what about you? If you're faced with two equally qualified candidates, you're a senior, right? So what
Yeah.
if a junior wants to like ganti your position as a leader? How would you pick them?
How would I pick them? From my opinion, like for if he or she were to replace my position in an organization, if it is equally qualified in terms of education and curriculum, then I would choose based on their, what you call it, the semangat, spirit, not spirit, like the, semangat lah. Semangat for the organization. Like if they want to commit with the organization, they will have to show what can they do for the organization, or for the activity of the program that he or she need to lead after this. So like basically on the not spirit, what do you call it? The, what is semangat in English?
Interest.
Some kind of like interest
but we get it lah. We get the idea of it.
The point is
interest.
the interest in that particular organization or activity that we are doing.
Maybe,
that one.
Yeah.
Patient, maybe patient.
Sorry.
Patient.
Oh yeah, patient. Yeah, PASSION.
Yeah.
Patient
So,
in the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. True.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna ask the last question. So for the last question, what advice would you give someone going into a leadership position for the first time? Mr. Shahmi?
Okay, so I think this is like a test. So I think if you think that those people or those person suitable, first thing you need to ask him or her whether he's willing to go for this one, because you can't force people, right? I mean, to be a leader, you can't force people, but sometimes there's a one thing that you need to force people, because you know that the people have like a leadership inside, but not able to shining. So that's the thing. So what question again?
What is the question again?
Yeah.
For what advice would you give someone going into a leadership position for the first time?
My advice is trying, and if they think they will be able to, then go on. If they think they're not able to proceed, not ready, then that's all. But I think you who elect him or her need to support on whatever, and then give advice on what are the maybe if they are doing wrongly or incorrectly. So at least they will feel somebody support, because a leader need a support. Without support, it's just like a puppet thing. No, yeah.
All right. How about you, Haziq?
All right. From my side, what advice can I give to this leader in this group? Is that if you are going to be a leader, prepare yourself. It's going to be a hard. It's going to be a sweet, but then there will be a sour, but then there will be a bitter along the journey. So that along the journey, all you have to do is enjoy your work. Enjoy your work. Do it do it with your own passion and do it in your own way. And if you are, if you are, or how do you say, if you are too down, or it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay in a way that if you want to cry, just cry. If you want to be happy or laugh as loud as you can, as you want, do it, because that is what satisfies you in the end of your work. Yeah.
All right. Okay.